What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I will bring you part one of a series of top 5 favourite horror films from each decade that I have been alive. So that's the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s and the 2010s. I think this is going to be a fun little multi-video kind of list thing. So it's going to be fun. So this is going to be the first episode, which is the top 5 favourite horror films of the 1980s. And without further ado, let's get in to this one. Coming in at number 5 is Return of the Living Dead. Now, I love this movie, guys. This is one of my favourite zombie films ever. It might just be my favourite. A tongue-in-cheek take on the undead. And as far as I'm aware, I do believe it's the first zombie film to really have that kind of concept of the zombies have to eat brains, you know, because they got to get rid of the pain. The pain of being dead, and eating brains is the way to, you know, to negate the pain, which is really kind of like a little kind of rib at the zombies themselves. They're, you know, dead. Why would they want to eat when they're dead? But it's a great kind of tongue-in-cheek film. I think the practical effects are glorious, and I feel that it has enough gore to really satisfy those people that kind of go for these films for the gore effects. It's got some very cool gore effects in it. The main thing I love about this film, I love the acting and I love the characters. I think without both of those things, this film wouldn't be as entertaining as it is. The acting is so over the top in this panicked, we are fucked kind of way, which is kind of hilarious to watch as these characters kind of fumble and really panically try to survive, and it makes the film just utterly entertaining and just fun to watch. Even like flipping on its side, and you've got the zombie side of it where they're trying to get brains. You know, they eat their way through police and paramedics alike, you know. Send more paramedics. Indeed. This film is just an entertainingly crazy comedy horror that continues to entertain me time and time again. And if you haven't seen it, it's a must watch. Go and check it out. At number 4, we have Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Like I said in my Elm Street ranking list, this is one of the best slasher sequels ever made, and it is my favourite Elm Street movie. It's just full of great kills, really likeable characters, and a returning Nancy that just makes this a superb, memorable sequel with just some of the best one-liners in the whole franchise. You know, Freddy is equally kind of tongue-in-cheek, but also still retains that fear factor that you want from a antagonist like this. They capture the perfect balance of tongue-in-cheek humour and outright horror. I think Nightmare on Elm Street 3, like I said in my Elm Street thing, is one of the best sequels ever made for a horror franchise, and for me it's the best in the franchise. So that's all I really got to say. It's awesome. Coming in at number 3 on this list is Fright Night. Now, Fright Night for me is the best vampire film ever made. It happens also to be probably the coolest vampire film ever made. I mean, it's just got a great story of, you know, this mega horror fan watching his favourite programme on TV called Fright Night, and he discovers this vampire has moved in next door, and it's just a wonderful movie of him trying his best to warn people. It's such just an easy watch as well. Like, that's what I love with some of these horror films, that you just can stick on, watch it time and time again, and it never gets old. Fright Night is definitely a movie that I think gets better with age. I mean, like, you know, I discovered this film about a year ago for the first time, and I've watched it since, and it's still great. I don't know where I've been, how I didn't discover this film earlier than I did, but yeah, just like that, it was my favourite vampire film ever. The antagonist vampire himself, Jerry Dandridge, is seriously one cool cat, but when he wants to get scary, he gets damn fucking scary. Fright Night is such a underrated fantastic horror movie. And when people talk about vampire films, I feel like this one kind of slips through the cracks a little bit. Maybe people need to pay more attention to Fright Night, because I think this is the best vampire film ever made. So there you go. Down to the last two now. Number 2 for me is Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. For me, this is just this is the greatest 80s slasher film, in my opinion. I think it's just such a fun movie. Jason Voorhees in this film is probably at his most unstoppable, because he is a super undead zombie Jason in this movie. The kills are cool in this, and it has an awesome opening 30 minutes where Jason is resurrected, and it's just badass. Just uncompromising badassery. The fact my name is also Jason, and I was born in 1986, and this entry in the Friday the 13th franchise is called Jason Lives, and it came out in 1986. That just gives it an automatic 10 points, because I think the film knew something. It knew of my arrival in 1986. Anyway, this film is awesome. It probably has the coolest Jason in it. Greatest 80s slasher film right here. This is it. Number 1. From a perspective of 80s horror, no other film could be number 1 than this one, because this film is perfection. My number 1 is John Carpenter's The Thing. This film is just all out 10 out of 10. John Carpenter's 1982 body horror is a perfect example to me of suspense and paranoia. The pacing is bang on the money, and the film continues to make you ask the question, who is the Thing? It's got some incredible moments, incredible tension-filled moments. The blood test scene, for example, is probably the most tension-filled sequence ever put to film, in my opinion. And of course, the practical effects are legendary, and they are still blowing minds to this day. It shows what you can do with practical effects and how they age so well if they are done like they have done in this movie. They are masterfully crafted. I have no negative for this movie. Like I said, this movie is perfect. It's the perfect 80s horror film, and that's why it's on the top of my list. Now, I think I better go and do a blood test. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. As always, if you like what you see here and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, hit that like button. It always helps out. But if you don't like this video and think I'm rubbish, the dislike button is right there, and it's there for a reason. I tell you what, man, I've been really enjoying making these videos over the last couple of weeks. The ranking videos have been really fun to do, and I've just got tons more content I want to make, and it's just been really fun just to be able to just ramble on about movies, specifically horror movies anyway, because I just love horror movies. Look forward to more content, more top 5s, more rankings coming up, because I just think it's going to be a fun old time. But as always, I've been Jason, and I'm out.